Bangladesh is today observing a day of mourning after at least 27 people were killed when a military training jet crashed into a college campus in the capital Dhaka shortly after takeoff. This is the country's worst aviation disaster in recent memory. So what could have caused this disaster? Lieb is a senior lecturer in aviation at CQ University and he joins me now. Stephen, good to have you with us this evening. Now, Bangladesh's military is saying that the F-7 jet was experiencing a mechanical fault shortly after takeoff. So what sort of mechanical error or errors could have been behind this? And is that the most likely scenario?
Well, first, thanks for having me. It's a very, very tragic situation. It's hard to imagine what type of mechanical failure could have occurred so early into the investigation. And I think we're all really trying to consider what might have happened. And at the end of the day, I think we may not know for a while the actual details of what caused it, but we are searching for answers as quickly as possible. There could be a variety of different things that could have gone wrong mechanically, and those are what the initial reports suggest, but it's also just very early to know.
So what do you expect to happen in terms of investigations at this very early stage when recovery is still ongoing?
Yeah, and this is a big concern. The accident scenario happened at a place that is very difficult to secure that area, and that will be the priority right now, is providing assistance for survivors, making sure people get medical care, trying to secure the area, gathering evidence so that they can really try to preserve that for investigation purposes. And certainly that's the priority in the short term. And one of the key considerations will be what they can recover and how they can, recreate the configuration of the aircraft to try to diagnose what happened.
Yes. And do you believe, is it more or less complicated because it does involve a very small aircraft with one pilot?
Well, I think the fact that it was a military aircraft is relevant in that military aircraft engage in a much wider variety of maneuvers and procedures that they would perform. So given that greater variation, I think they'll really have to work hard to try to piece together what happened. And the fact that it was a small aircraft may mean that there's less to find in terms of recreating that. And also the fact that there's that the wreckage of the aircraft would be embedded in the accident scene.
Yes. So what do we know about this aircraft? It's a Chinese-built F-7 BGI training craft because there was another crash involving the same jet also in Bangladesh back in 2008.
Yes, so this aircraft has quite a history. The original product line was started in the 1960s, and there have been many variant updates since then. And there are more than 2,000 of them that have been exported around the world, and it's got a wide variety of uses for different military purposes. This particular one was a training aircraft, and I guess there has been some history of accidents involving this aircraft, certainly in Bangladesh, and if you look at the past 20 years, we've seen around 11 or so accidents in Bangladesh, and this is not necessarily a specific aircraft problem, but there has been a history of that I'm sure they will seek to address, because one of the immediate outcomes will be to determine if they need to make recommendations for the aircraft.
Yes. So given that it's built in China, as you mentioned, and used in other countries, would that sort of force the countries that do employ this jet to perhaps take precautionary measures at the moment?
Well, certainly I think every country that operates that will be paying close attention to this investigation. And I imagine the manufacturer will be working very closely to support the investigation and determine with any aircraft accident that's a very standard protocol, is for a collaborative effort to determine what happened. And certainly with the idea of do we need to make modifications to aircraft to prevent whatever happened. That will be definitely one of the immediate outcomes that they'll try to pursue.
Yes, and of course, given that this was a trainee pilot as well, does that also mean that perhaps there was a chance that there could have been pilot error?
Certainly couldn't exclude that at this point of the investigation, and it's still very early days to know all of the contributing factors. And I think one thing that we should acknowledge that any accident scenario has a variety of factors that contribute to the outcome and its severity. One of the things that I noticed from reports coming out of this accident were comments about the urbanization of the area around the airport, which limited the ability for the pilot to determine a safe place to put the aircraft down. And that appears consistent, at least with the Air India crash that we saw last couple weeks ago, and even with the Miracle on the Hudson accident in New York, where Captain Sully put the aircraft in the Hudson River. I think that growing urbanization is something we need to pay more attention to, because if there's an aircraft that can't make it back to the airport, there needs to be due consideration on how to handle that emergency protocol.
Okay, Stephen Lieb, we really do appreciate your insights on our program. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.